I'm very excited to start the very first episode of Be Positive Vibe Group. I am Nivetha Bolton and I will be the host for Be Positive Vibe Group. Okay, let me just ask you all a question. So, have you ever craved for home cooked food? Like we have, imagine one afternoon, you're sitting on your couch and having a plate full of pitu and then some non-veg gravy to go with and alongside with some sambal, I guess. It would be perfect, right? With this hint, you might have guessed the guest for today, as we have said in the introduction post. So, without further delay, let me introduce you all to the very first guest for our podcast. So, she is the founder of a well-known brand, Coffee Colombo, and also that she's a visionary behind the brand called House of Risham, which is an ethnic wear where it meets the perfection of tradition. So today we're diving into her journey, her passion, and some stories. I think it would be eye-catching to hear and also overwhelming for us. And not just that, she's basically every brown parent's favorite kid. She's just a successful entrepreneur. And to add an essence to that, she is a doctor by profession. I don't know how she handles it, but she handles it like a pro, I guess. So let's welcome Miss Nivetha Sivakumar onto the show. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you so much for the introduction. I think the introduction was a bit overwhelming for me to hear, but thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I'm so happy to be the first guest on your podcast, and I wish you all the best. I am so excited to do this with you, to be the first step to your journey.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It means a lot for us, like including me and my team and all. So I would like to recall an incident which happened back in 2023 for me and my roommate.
Okay.
So like once we are undergraduate at university. So once we came to university, our university is in Homagam. So we didn't have that much access to like home food. You know, on typical Sunday, like your menu is what we have on a typical Sunday at home. So while we were going through Uber Eats and all, and we came through a reel on Instagram, I guess, about Coffee Colombo. What inspired us was the menu. Nowadays, there are various restaurants that go with like so fancy names, right? Hot butter cuttlefish and even some names that we can't even pronounce. So what made you choose that menu itself? I guess a lot of people have the same question.
Yes. So I've answered this many times, but to just cut it short for you, it was not something that was planned. It was just a viral moment, I would say. So I've experienced a couple of times. It's just our bestseller until today, which is our crab puttu, the crab puttu set.
I've also had that.
Yeah. So that's a puttu, crab, sambal, and gravy. So that I just took it, I just posted it on Instagram. That became viral, and that's why there's Coffee Colombo today. So the starting of it was not really something that I had planned, right? But what Coffee Colombo is today is definitely intentional. Every move is intentional. So I think Coffee Colombo has never been about aesthetics, but it's always been about authenticity.
Great.
So that is the main thing. And I think I've never been a person who loves to follow trends. Of course, there are lots of people doing Western style restaurants, fancy names, like you said. If it works for them, yes, good for them. But Coffee Colombo is more about culture, and it was more about preserving the culture, preserving a part of my home where I come from, because I'm a Jaffna Tamil, and presenting it in a way that Colombo and on a global platform that will be accepted.
Great. I don't think nobody could explain this much about the things that you have came across and the authenticity of the menu. So it's like
so like what I was saying. So I am from Jaffna, right? So I think this, when you hear someone from Jaffna, you go back to a lot of things that we have moved past as a community.
Yes.
So this, for me, it's a very personal journey. It's about rewriting that. So when you think about Jaffna, it's more than what has happened, and even the culinary part and where we come from, our culture. There's a lot of things that people don't know because of what has happened. Everything is hidden behind just a 30-year civil war. It's so much more than that. So it's about It's about showing a different view, a different perspective that people don't know. And even when it comes to food and our heritage and our culture, I think Jaffna food is very communal in the sense of like it brings people together. And I have always felt whenever I think like, what is the purpose of my life? I always think maybe it's bringing people together. So this is also something that I do that I feel like I bring people together. It's something with a good intention behind it. Also, mainly like I said, preserving the culture and the
Like
authenticity.
such a huge motive for like a youngster. Like you are at this age, you're like thinking a lot beyond your level and like bringing the community together, uniting everyone, because of course food unites people, right? So we would never say no to food, right? So yeah. So moving on to my next question, which a lot of people wanted to know, because once I posted your post on Instagram, they're like a doctor. So what made her shift from her study expertise and to go for a restaurant? Because you might have started a pharmacy or even a hospital or any healthcare services. But like what made you shift from your profession and your study expertise to a business and being an entrepreneur to this venture? So,
Okay. So the thing is, I think most people these days, they think that a degree defines them, right? So what you are, what you become is based on your degree. So if you're a doctor, you're a doctor. If you're a lawyer, you're a lawyer. And that is what defines you. And then you kind of put yourself in that box and say, this is the person I am. Sometimes you kind of, you change your personality according to your profession. You know, everything revolves around that. You start acting like a doctor, walking like a doctor, you know, talking, sleeping like a lawyer. I don't know what that means, but you know, you're
thinking
kind of,
about cases and everything.
yeah, so your
But
personality revolves around that. But the truth is, nothing can ever define you, right? Your degree is just a small fragment of your life. So starting off with that. So what medicine taught me was, I think, resilience, was working teamwork, was becoming a leader, was how to handle situations. That is what healthcare taught me. So when it comes to Coffee Colombo or House of Resham, for me, it was not really stepping out of my comfort zone. It was about expanding it.
great.
So it's about me. Coffee Club is a part of me. House of Resham is a part of me. Is something that is within me that I bring to the table, that I bring outside to the world. So it was never about I did healthcare, but I moved out. It was about it's just expanding something I already am. So I've never seen it as two, three different things. It's never, it's just me. I'm just expanding. And things that I learned from there, I just applied it here. I think healthcare, the most important thing that I learned from healthcare is problem solving and acting when it's needed and being there, being consistent, being resilient. And all that applies to every business and every aspect of life.
True, true, true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's never about staying within that one box, within that one frame, but it's about being able to be layered and being able to expand.
Yeah.
So you never think of it as coming out of something and looking at it differently. Just think of the whole thing as one, and you're just expanding yourself.
Great. Your explanation is as beautiful as you.
Thank you.
So, moving on to the third question about what you said about it's a part of me, like I own it, like be owning your brand. So these days, like restaurants, they have influencers and everyone promoting them, right? So apart from that, you own your brand. You're like, it's me, it's my brand. I am promoting it, right? Like that attitude, because I have seen when I visited Coffee Colombo 3 times till now. So all 3 times I have seen you, but I initially thought you are like one influencer who's promoting this. But like, what made you like step up and own your brand? Like, this is my brand, I will promote it. Like, what made you do that?
So first of all, when it comes to your own brand and something that you have created, if you don't believe in it, then who is going to? That is the question. If you don't believe in your brand, then who is going to? Right? So starting off with that, when you put your face as the face of the brand, there's always pros and cons, and I've spoken about this. So the thing is, even though I'm the face of the brand, I'm also a separate person, right? I have my own family, I have my own personal life going on. So what happens is when you're out there in public as a face of the brand, everything is correlated, right? So the downside of it is that if you do a mistake, even in your personal life, say for example, I'm out there in social media and I'm going to comment about something that is very personal, about my own preferences, about my own likes and dislikes. Everything is going to be automatically tied up with my brand. If I go down, I take my brand down with me. So that is the downside of it. But the good side of it is that because I created this band, I founded this band, nobody has that perspective that I have to it. And nobody will be able to carry it and see it the way I see it. I can sit down here and explain to you the whole day about what Coffee Colombo is, what my vision is, but my perspective will always be different in comparison to yours. Because behind every small thing, behind every small dish, behind every small presentation, there's a thought process. So that thought process is something that I am able to see. And when I stand there as the face of the brand, I take all that with me. And I believe I add value to the brand because it's a piece of my home. So this business is not something that I just run with my head, but it's something that I run with my heart. So I don't think there's anyone better to represent it other than myself. So that is why.
Just nowadays, people think self-confidence as arrogant, right? So like this is like a beautiful example of like how self-confidence shapes a person and shapes a brand that's owned by a person. So that self-confidence shaped you, and like Coffee Colombo is like, there is no one that literally don't know Coffee Colombo, because when I say Coffee Colombo, it's that shop that sells like Jaffna cuisines and all. So like it's very peculiar and very authentic, like in a way everyone knows. So the root cause of it is self-confidence. I am very much impressed to hear that. So
Thank you so much.
great. So moving on to our fourth question. So you're balancing so many roles and running House of Reshams and also being a doctor, a founder of Coffee Colombo. And then on the other hand, you're promoting certain brands. I have seen Odell and like certain brands you're promoting. So definitely you would have a trustable team that's working behind you. For example, let me tell you, like if we were to do a certain group project or something, we would definitely have to call them and keep up on this, like, okay, is this done? Is this done? Is this done? How is it going? What's the progress? You definitely have to keep a call about it. But this is like completely different. Or group projects are like a simple example for it. This is like completely different. How did you have a trustable team, and what makes you trust that team?
So my A team always is my family.
Oh, great.
So starting off with that, I have a very, very strong support system. I always see it as like this net I have, that I think my confidence also comes from that, because I know if I were to fall, I'm not falling down, but I'm falling on this net, which is my family, that is always there to catch me. So that gives me a lot of confidence, that gives me the boost. And they're always there, they've always trusted in my vision. Whether it was to become a doctor, or whether it was to start Coffee Colombo, or whether it's House of Risham, or anything else that I am to do, right? So that is very important. Having that, the kind of trust you have when it's your family, it's always different, right? So to have that as my support system, I think I'm truly blessed. Having said that, when it comes to my Coffee Colombo team,
So let me just add a point here. Business runs in her blood because by your father is also a businessman. You just elaborate a bit about that, and I would appreciate
yes,
going
of
into
course,
more.
of course. Thank you so much for asking that. My father, he is my hero, and I think the apple of my eye. He is the most
Daddy's
important.
girl.
Yeah, he's the most important person in my life. Hands down, maybe my mother will be offended when she hears it, but hands down, my father. Like, I love him because I think what's truly inspiring is not really my story, but is his story. So I come from a privileged background. That is something that I always mention. I didn't start this from nowhere. Like I said, I have a net, I have a safety net. I have a very strong safety net that I know today I'm going to go there, I'm going to start, I fall back, I don't lose anything. Like I will not lose everything and go back to square one. I always have that safety net where I'm like, okay, fine, let me try. If I fall, I fall. There's always something to pick me up. And that something to pick me up is my father, the backbone of this all. He never had that safety net. So he is someone who comes from absolutely nothing. from Jaffna, from a family of 8 people. They barely had 3 meals a day to eat. So everything that he created has been from his own hard work. So he has worked day and night to provide education for us, and more than that, to teach us life lessons. So I was actually born in Italy, and now even nowadays you see many people traveling from Sri Lanka out, but we are a family that we traveled in. I was born in Italy. I lived there for 10 years, but we left everything. I lived a very comfortable life there. My father had a business there, business that he had built, very comfortable. But we moved back for the one and only reason that my parents, my father especially, wanted me to grow up in the Sri Lankan culture, and wanted me to understand. So then we moved back for that very reason. So that's why I'm so proud about Coffee Colombo, because it also fulfills a part of his dream. He wanted me to understand the culture and grow up in that culture and radiate that culture. And I think I do that on a daily. Somehow, with the blessing of God and my family, I'm able to do that on a daily. And even if he's proud of me, even 1%, I think I'm so very happy about that.
I'm very sure definitely he would. Okay. Okay, let's just go back to the point of your team B. Like you have mentioned about team A, team
almost
B.
forgot.
Yeah.
See, so when it comes to my team, see, teamwork, it's even being a leader, right? It's not about standing there and be like, do this, do that, right? Anyone can do that. Anyone can have a checklist and be like, okay, this is what needs to be done. You do this, you do this, you do that. And about ordering people. You have to have certain boundaries for the respect, but at the same time, you should allow space for everyone to grow on their own. And when you give respect, people value that respect and they feel seen, heard. When they feel seen, when they feel heard, they have a certain relationship that they build with the brand. That's how, when you have a team, when you have staff, you make them part of your team. You make them part of Coffee Colombo. So when it comes to my team, they trust my vision and I trust them to make my vision come true. So this is for my family and for my team.
Wow, that's like absolute like cinema move. So like when you give credits to everyone, that's when you grow, right? Like
exactly,
you understand your worth and you never fail to give credits to the people that works for you, right? Right now I might be sitting in front like holding cards and sheet and paper, like there's a lot of people who are working behind this.
Exactly.
Yes. So thank you so much for reminding that. And then moving on to the last question. So we might have covered up like almost all the questions where the audience wanted to ask you certain questions. So you might have seen and you have reposted it on your social media. So we have come to the last question for this day. A lot of youngsters today are like so eager to start something. Like they so badly want to start something, but then they're scared. What if it fails? What if it doesn't work? What if? So, like, what's that one piece of advice? No, not that advice, I would say. A cherry on top for the cake.
Okay.
Or like a small tip you want to give to people of my generation. I'm not saying that you're old. I'm not saying you're old.
I am not going to disclose my age anyways.
Okay, fine. I'm not saying you're old. You are young. You look way younger than me. But the thing is, like, for people who want to grow, somehow like who want to take that one step. So what's the point you want to tell them?
I think before we started rolling this podcast, you already told me the answer for this question.
Yeah.
It's to start, right? Yes. So being ready is a myth. You can never feel 100% ready. When you're starting something new, you're going to have questions. You're going to have what if that, what if this. Of course, you have a framework that you follow and you work, right? But you never know exactly what's going to come. And that is going to give you the fear. It's all based on a hypothesis, right? It's all based on, okay, this should work like this. If I do it like this, this is a possible outcome. But there's also another possible outcome. You will never be able to answer that. So that questions in your head is what is giving you that fear. But that fear is normal. That is why I always say being ready is a myth. You can never be ready. It's about starting. So you start and the confidence is going to follow when you start. So that is the most important thing. The other thing, what I always stress on is when you start, consistency is being consistent every day, doing the same thing every day, never getting bored of it, giving your heart and soul and being happy, being truly happy about what you do. That goes a long way. And another thing, also something that I always talk about is like what we said before, is it's okay to be layered. It's okay to do a couple of things, right? It's okay to not put yourself into one cage or into one box. So it's okay to explore. So feel free to explore yourself. Feel free to explore what you like. And another thing is, this is also something that I always mention is never have everything set. Like there are a lot of people that always think having plan B, C, and D is the best way to go, right? 100%,
Oh, that's not.
100% something I also believe. But so this is what happens when you have plan B, C, and D. Now you have plan A, right? Now you're thinking, okay, if this doesn't work, I'll go for plan B and C.
Yeah.
But what are you doing? What is your brain doing? Indirectly, you're already prepared for B, C, and D. So you're losing control and attention that you're going to give to plan A. That is what happens. And indirectly, you're actually already manifesting B, C, and D.
Yeah,
Where instead, you should be manifesting A and you should be working 100% on A.
Wow, what a psychological theory. Wow.
So that's the thing. So it's like, okay, I understand if you fail, you can have B, C, and D. But being too reliant and being too confident about having B, C, and D, at the end of the day, you're going to end up choosing that B, C, or D. And you're going to move away from A. So always remember that your plan A is your best plan. And always focus 100% on it. And then if it fails, okay, then we can see what comes up next. And another thing, something very small is when it comes, especially if you're going to be there out in the public, uh, don't let anything that anyone says define you. Now, for example, now you said an introduction and you have given me so many titles. Honestly, when I go out there in public and when someone asks me what do you do, I say nothing much, right? Because I don't know what to say and what to explain. People like take interviews and say, okay, what should I address you? I say, I don't know, whatever you choose. Because all those titles, even any of those titles, that doesn't define me. I don't see myself as a doctor. I don't see myself as an entrepreneur. I just see myself as someone who creates, as someone who expands, as someone that brings together, right? So that is what I see myself. And if those titles can't define me, someone else's opinion is nothing.
Great.
So if something that, something as big as the title that the public is giving me, it doesn't get to my head, it doesn't define me. Someone's opinion never should change what you think, never should affect you.
It was something which I needed, like I personally needed, right? Like when I started this, I had a fear, like how would people think and like what is the comments that I'm gonna get? Like I also had that in mind.
Yeah.
So like what you said is also suitable for me. Like I am also a fresher, no?
Yeah,
like
of
being
course.
in front of the camera and like being in front of people, like it's also something new for me. So thank you so much, ma'am. It means a lot. And then I would like to highlight what she said again. Priorities matters. So prioritize what you want and spread your wings and fly, because anyhow you have to fly. Even if you hit the rock bottom, you would have to rise up, right? There's nothing greater than zero, right? So you go from zero or even minus and then somehow you have to come to plus. So thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting to come to the show as the first guest. It truly means a lot.
Thank you so much. Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Why did you choose me?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. For the question of that, we had a couple of profiles in the first place. We went through certain profiles and we basically stalked them to know what they're doing. Okay. So what made us choose you? What made us just think that you are standing out from them and you have that essence is that the consistency you have first. Like at any place, we never felt that you have brought someone down to make you up. That's the second thing we have chosen. So the third thing is, by profession and all, you are like a well-known person and like you're doing perfectly great. And even though you're doing so well in life, the humbleness you have. Like, I'm sure you would not accept this and you're gonna say no, 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 not accepting. But like when I discussed, I have chosen Miss Nivetha as my first guest to a lot of people, even the camera person or even my technical team. They were like, "You're the best and the first choice that I could have chosen," because I had like 5 profiles in front of me, and then I was asking them, and they were like, "This one is going to be the great start for you," because even though you rise so high, you still keep yourself so grounded. And I believe that's the thing that's making you reach up to this heights and all. So what they have said and what everyone have said and what even I personally have seen while interacting with you still makes me think that you are the first choice, and I don't think nobody could have done justice better
Thank
than
you so
you.
much. Thank you so much. That is honestly again overwhelming. I didn't ask you that so that I would get all these compliments, but thank you so much.
It's
I
truly
just
from the bottom of my heart. Yeah.
thank you so much. But I asked you that also to remind you just one small thing, that success is very subjective.
Yeah, true, true.
Success varies from person to person. So even though I am here, I'm out there in the public and people see me as successful, I think we should all always remember that success is very subjective. And even if you go back to your own home, your own mother, she has her own life. She has raised you as a beautiful daughter with so much values, and she's also successful. She might not be sitting in front of the camera and speaking to the public like
Yeah,
this, but she's also very successful. So don't let anyone else's success define you. That
great.
is also very, very important.
Great. Wow. Like for all of us, it's like a great lessons you're giving. Like the based on your experience is like a lesson for us. You're so open and so frank and sharing everything that happened for you. So this is so nice of you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, ma'am. Finally, and wishing you the very best success. Hope you reach many heights and achieve whatever you want.
Thank you so
So, in
much.
order for you to not forget us, I hope you will remember us.
Of course I
But
will.
but we have a small token of appreciation
Okay.
that will nourish you and nourish us. This is a token
Oh,
of
thank you
appreciation for
so
you.
much. Thank you. That's a plant. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's an indoor plant.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What? Okay.
It's
Thank
like
God
an
it comes
oxygen.
with like what you should do.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you so much. This is so thoughtful.
yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Instead of giving something that is going to fade off, I think this
Yeah.
is so beautiful.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank you.
sure, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
Honestly, it means a
oh,
lot.
it means a lot for us too.
And
So yeah.
I really hope that your podcast will go places. I will be so happy and I will be so proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much, ma'am. It means a lot. It means a lot. Thank you everyone for the support and the time you have spent and invested to watch this video. Until then, this is me, Nivetha, signing off. See you in next episode. Bye bye.